everybody. It's Rita here from Picked and Polished, and I hope you guys had a wonderful, fantastic holiday. And I know the holiday season is still happening. We've got New Year's Eve to look forward to in our house. So if you're here, say hi, let me know that you're watching. If you see the little red dot up in the, or the little red live button up in the corner, you know that I'm live, so we're in real time right now. And if you're not seeing that, hashtag replay so that I know you were here watching. So hi, Nikki. So my name is Rita Freecott, and I own Picked and Polished. Hi, Kim. And hi, Donna. And so my specialty in my business is I help teach women how to create beautiful things with their Cricut machines, making stencils so that they can sell things for their business, decorate their home, or inspire others in DIY workshops. So that is the main focus of my business. But I also, so I have a membership group where I teach and help those women called the DIY Decor Makers Group. Hi, Annette. I see some DIY divas on here tonight. So thanks for hopping on here tonight. So normally when I go live, I do a project, a DIY project of some kind, usually involves stenciling and painting. And a lot of people don't know this, but I actually have a second level of my DIY Decor Makers group, and it's for biz bosses. So I help women in that group sort of navigate the waters of having a creative business. And I also have a course called the Facebook Biz Bootcamp, which is opening up soon. And tonight I want to talk to you guys about something that I'm really super passionate about, which is using Facebook to boost and grow any business that you have. It doesn't have to be a creative business. The reason why I'm so passionate about this is because many of you that have been following my journey since the beginning know that I started this business with a friend, and we started on, like, I jokingly say, like, on a nickel. I mean, we had like zero capital to invest. And slowly over time, it started out as a side hustle. Hi, Rima. Hi, Beth. It has sort of evolved and grown. And a big reason that has been able to happen for me is because of the way that I use Facebook. I feel like we're in this day and age where it's amazing to me that I can be living in this little tiny town in Alexandria, New Hampshire, and I can have a membership group that's online, and I can be serving and communicating with all these amazing women all over the United States and even Canada. I have some women in the group that are from Canada. So I don't believe that I would have been able to get to this point in my business and grow it and scale it the way I have been able to if it hadn't been for the power of social media and marketing. And so as I've grown my business, I've been able to help other women do the same thing. Use Facebook as a platform to get their businesses growing without paying for paid ads. Have I used paid ads? Certainly. Will I use them in the future? Absolutely, but it's few and far between, and when I do use them, I use them very strategically. So I have some key points and simple tips that I'm going to share with you guys tonight to help you grow your businesses on Facebook, no matter what business you have. So you could have, like my mother-in-law, she has a real estate business, so she's a property manager, so these tips would work for her as well. Because the philosophies I teach and the ones that I use in my marketing are really just about people and serving my people well. And I think it's a philosophy that's been around for a long time if you're in customer service in any way. So before I was doing this, I was a teacher, and then I was a business manager. So I sort of can see how Facebook is a place where we can communicate and have conversations and learn about one another. It's not always about selling. It's not always about what it is you have to make money off of. But I think of Facebook in a very surprising way that I think some of you may say, like, what is she talking about? So the way that I think about Facebook and marketing on my business page is almost like it's sort of an oxymoron in a way, because it's almost like I go back in time and I think about the days when you'd go into a general store and you would know people's story, right? We still have those stores around us here in New Hampshire where the people that own the store, you walk in and they greet you, and they're happy that you're there, and they want to get to know you, and they are invested in you, right? And I feel the very same way about my Facebook page, oddly enough. I feel like it's like my little slice of that little general store online where I can get to know who my customers are, what it is they need from me, and how I can best serve them to the best of my ability. And I think that when people think about Facebook and when you use it with that intention, it can really get you a long way. And I'll talk about why and how coming up with my 5 tips that I'll be sharing with you guys tonight. And so I think that if we look at Facebook in the sense of like Facebook's always wanting us to interact and engage with one another, and really that's what good businesses do, right? They get to know their customers. They want their customers to know, like, and trust them and feel like you're not, if you owned a general store and you were in there, you wouldn't hide behind your counter, right? You wouldn't have very many customers if you did that. You kind of have to get out from behind the counter and get to know the people that are walking in your doors. And I feel like going live and interacting with you guys on a daily basis and being consistent about it has been a big part in how I've been able to grow my my business. Now, I don't want you guys to think that or get confused with the idea that, hi Jan, hi Nancy, that, I think a lot of people would get caught up in the numbers. They look at someone's Facebook page and they say, wow, she's got, 30,000 followers on her page. But I want you to think about, I don't want you to get sidetracked and get caught up in all those numbers. I want you to think about, even if you have 100 people on your Facebook business page, and I believe every business should have a business page, that I want you to think about it as like, how best can you serve those 100 people? And are those 100 people really your people? And then as you grow, you want people on there that are going to want to interact with you and get to know you as a brand and you as a person. And you want to get to know their stories and them as customers. So I think that looking at it from that perspective can take away some of the overwhelm we sometimes feel when we're trying to market ourselves on social media. So, I'm going to start with, my very first important thing, and that comes with the idea of like, we're not going to be hiding behind the counters, right? If we own a store, we're going to be out in front in the open, and we're going to be talking to the people that walk in the door. So if you have a Facebook business page, if you think about it in that way, hi LaDonna, it's important that you show up and that you're out in front and that you remember that you are actually your brand. So tip number 1 for growing your Facebook business page and growing and then it converting into profits and dollars, because that's all, you could have a huge, ginormous Facebook page, but if it's not converting for you or helping you pay the bills, then it's not much good for your business, right? So part of it is that you're celebrating you and the talents and your unique story that you have to share. Whether you're someone who's knitting pot holders for people, you're someone running a real estate business, you're someone selling signs, it doesn't really matter what it is that you're selling. You have to be willing to get out there and show the world what your gifts are and what you're good at. And sometimes it's surprising to think that, well, doesn't everybody know how to, decorate their wall, or doesn't everybody know how to cook a nice bowl of pasta if you're someone who cooks? No, not everybody knows all the things that you know. That's what makes you special. And so a lot of people like to hide behind their pages and not come out and share their passion or what it is their gifts are with the world. And I think that can be one of the biggest stumbling blocks when you start a Facebook business page, because your job is to get out in front of your customers and show them that they can know you, like you, and trust you. And that's eventually what will lead to them wanting to buy from you. So, being able to celebrate what it is you're good at, even celebrate the things that you're not so good at, and know that you're not perfect and you don't have to be perfect to put yourself out there, is a really big piece of the puzzle. Nobody wants to see somebody pretending to be perfect. People can sniff that out from a mile away. So just be real, just be you, and celebrate your own unique story. We all have a different story to share. We've all had challenges. You guys know I'm a colorectal cancer survivor. I share that every now and then, and I advocate and I try to educate people on that, on early detection and screening. But I don't share it because I want people to feel bad for me. I share it because it's part of my story, and it is part of who I am, and I can hopefully use that in a positive way. Just like you all have a really important story to share, and you never know who's going to be out there needing to hear that. Garland's on with me tonight, and she is an amazing cook, and she's going to be doing live videos teaching people how to cook. For people like me, that's an incredible gift that she can give to the world, because I'm not a great cook, and so I didn't get that gene that my mom has for cooking. So if she can teach me how to do something from the comforts of my home and provide that sort of content on her Facebook page, and then I'm watching her and I'm learning from her and I'm gaining trust and getting to know her. Hi, Carrie from Australia. See, you never know who's going to be watching, right? You never know who's going to need to hear what you have to say. So, she'll be giving me a huge gift. And then if Garland comes out with a recipe book, am I going to buy that recipe book? Absolutely 100,000% I am, because I feel like I connect with her and I know what she has created. She's put love and care into. Okay. And so it's really, really important before you can celebrate your customers. Just like before they say, before you can love others, you have to love yourself, and you have to be able to celebrate the gifts you were given and be brave enough to do the big scary thing and put yourself out there, whether it be on a Facebook Live or a video of some sort, even if it's just your hands doing the thing that you do well. And kind of, showing maybe the behind the scenes of your process, whether it be, if you're an accountant, maybe it's a pile of paperwork, or if you're someone who's selling homes, maybe it's the before and after of staging and the process, the nightmare that goes on in between. People are drawn to that story, and they want to be let into your world. And so let them in, invite them in, and put yourself out there. And so that is my tip number one, is really being able to celebrate owning your gifts and sharing them with the world openly. I think that's really super important, and that does not mean you have to be perfect. I've got lots of notes here. I don't want to forget anything. So it also opens the door for natural conversations to happen. And so what happens with Facebook, when you have a lot of engagement, meaning people commenting, people sharing what it is you're putting out there, Facebook gives you juice, right? It boosts your page, so it shows it to more people. You get exposed to a wider audience, and that is always a good thing, right? If they're the right kind of people, they're going to be drawn to what it is you're doing. And if they're not your people, it's okay, because they're never going to buy from you anyway. They're never going to be part of your tribe. They're never going to be part of, maybe interested in what it is that you're doing, and that's okay. You have to be okay with that. And then one of the things that I say in one of the lessons in my Facebook Biz Bootcamp is, you can make the most delicious key lime pie ever in the history of key lime pies. And if you go to put it out on the table and you kind of throw it out there and run away from the pie, people are going to wonder, what's wrong with that pie? They're not going to want to eat that pie. It's going to be scary, right? So take pride in what you do and put it out there and own it. You don't have to be, you can still be humble and say, you know what? I worked really hard on this pie and I'm really proud of it, so I'm excited for you guys to try it today, right? You're going to get a totally different reaction when you own that gift that you have than when you just sort of back away and throw it out there and run in the other direction. It's not the same thing. And it's kind of how Facebook wants you to engage and create those conversations. So when you put something out there, you're going to get back what you put out. And then it opens doors for conversations, which then allows you to get to know your customers, which drives me to the second tip. Okay, tip number 2. So tip number 1 is celebrating yourself, your own personal story, the gifts that you have to share with the world, so that you can offer value to people that come to your page, whether it's making them laugh once a week with a funny post, giving them some DIY inspiration, maybe showing them your process. It doesn't have to be hard and scary and overwhelming, okay? Just simple things that you think people will enjoy seeing. So not always selling, right? So then the second tip is celebrating your customers, all right? And by that I mean really getting to know them, starting conversations with them, asking them questions, allowing them to ask you questions. And guess what, you guys? Big companies pay billions of dollars to get to know their customers. And it is fascinating to me that you can be on a free platform like Facebook and learn so much from what your customers want from you and need from you sometimes without them even knowing what it is they really need from you. If you listen closely, and I'm always working on that. I'm always trying to serve my people better, especially in my paid membership groups. Trying to figure out where their pain points are and how I can make their lives easier or better by serving them in a way that's meaningful. So we get all of that information by using our Facebook pages, business pages effectively, and showing up consistently is what's going to allow people to feel like, you know what, she's legit and I can trust her, and I'm going to reach out to her and ask her this question because I feel like she's going to actually answer me and engage with me. And even though I have spent hundreds and hundreds of hours answering questions for free, I feel like it has been worth my time because people know that I care enough to write back to them and to respond to them. And eventually you may get to a point where you need to hire somebody to help you with that, and that's okay too. But I just think that taking the time to respond to people and engage with people goes back to that old general store mentality. You get to know them in a way that, a lot of the women in my groups, I know their stories. I know, how many kids they have and what they do in their free time. And that's invaluable to me as a business owner, and also as a woman, just being in a tribe of other women. I just think that's so important. So use your Facebook page as a way to celebrate your customers as well. Stuck on number one, Wanda, the celebrating you. I know that, honestly, I think that's it's so easy to celebrate other people, but when you have to stop and really celebrate yourself, it's scary. Even coming on here tonight, because this is not my usual routine with you guys. It is a hard, scary thing, but I know that somebody out there might need to hear this and be encouraged by this. So I'm just going to give it a go, because another thing that I sometimes share is, if something is stopping you and that something is not going to kill you, make you really sick, kill anybody else, hurt anybody else, make you go completely broke and lose your savings, or not be able to pay your bills, then chances are you should probably go ahead and give it a go. And at the beginning of all of this, I've shared some of the first things that I've done. I mean, some of my first sales were in my driveway, and I remember things like Scrabble tiles were just falling off of things. I didn't use the right glue, and there was a huge auction going on next door to our house, and I think we had one customer come. I think it was our friend. They felt bad for us. They showed up and bought something. But it was a total, in somebody else's world, it would be a total disaster failure. But we just kept going, and I just continued on and continued on. And I will continue to grow and learn. It's not something that's ever going to stop in this business or when you own any type of business, right? So you have to be willing to do the hard, scary things sometimes, and know that you're probably not going to be very good at it at first, and that's okay. But the only way to get better is to just do it, do the scary thing, and continue and practice, and put yourself out there. And so that is really important. So celebrating yourself, and then celebrating your customers, listening to them, paying attention to what kinds of questions they're asking you, what it is they really need from you might be different than what you want to do. And having a business is all about serving other people. So sometimes you have to do the thing that you might not want to do because it's what your people need. So thinking about it that way, and thinking about, making them the focus, I think is really important too. Number 3 is, so that was tip number 2, was celebrating your customer. Okay, you guys are with me on this? So tip number 3 is showing up consistently and clearly for them. So what it is that you offer might change over time. Obviously, in my business, I started selling decor, and then I started doing workshops, and then I started online classes, and then I started a membership group and a blog. So things have changed, and I've let go of some things so that I can focus my energy on the areas that I really want to grow in. But I try every time I show up on my page to send a clear message to my audience about what it is that I offer. I have my tagline, "Hey Kelly." Kelly started Picked and Polished with me. So she knows, she remembers that first yard sale that we had where things were just sort of falling apart and we weren't really sure what we were doing, and things just evolve from there. But you have to go through those growing pains to get where you want to go. So showing up and clearly offering what it is that you want, clearly explaining what it is that you want to offer. Because remember that the online space is a noisy place, and so it's really handy if you can, kind of narrow down what it is you want to offer and not worry about pleasing everybody and doing all the things, which I got kind of wrapped up in at the beginning of the business, and sort of narrowing things down so you can send a clearer message to your audience on Facebook or on Instagram or whatever it is, or on YouTube, wherever it is you're going to be showing up for your people. So showing up consistently might be creating experiences for them on your Facebook page. So for me, for a long period of time, we did Facebook auctions, which I teach how to do in the Facebook Biz Bootcamp, live sales, lots of live videos, just fun posts, things that are interesting behind the scenes, tips and tricks that all have to do with what it is that I offer in my DIY Decor Makers group. So everything kind of lines up with that. And I try to create an experience so people feel like they have ownership over my business too. They feel like they're kind of a part of it and they have a voice in it, and they've been on this journey with me that I'm really grateful that they've been on with me along the way. So kind of showing up consistently, being clear, and creating a good experience for your customers. And you can do that for free, you guys. I know a lot of you probably are doing vendor markets and vendor fairs, and I've done those, and it is a lot of work, a lot of planning, a lot of expense. And I can tell you from experience, doing Facebook auctions and live sales, it has been way less work. I've worked way smarter, less harder, and I've made more money doing those than I did doing vendor events. Not to say you should stop doing those, because those are a great way to get out there in your community and network and grow in different ways. But here we are, we have a free platform to use in a way that we choose, and it's, being willing to try something new can really pay off. And not only do Facebook auctions and live sales drive traffic and drive profits, they also drive traffic not just to your page, but they drive traffic to your, if you have a brick and mortar, they drive traffic to your brick and mortar because people have to pick up a lot of the time. So a lot of that traffic you wouldn't otherwise see if you didn't make things, fun and create a great experience for people to engage with you on your Facebook page. Okay, so try to think of ways that you can create experiences, and I teach how to do all those, the nitty gritty of those, in my Facebook Biz Bootcamp, which is opening up. I mistakenly put this Sunday, but it's actually opening up next Sunday. The doors will open for that. So that's number 3. So creating a really good experience, being clear about what you have to offer. All right, tip number 4. This one's simple, but a lot of people miss the boat on this one. And this is something that I'm always working on. Good pictures, you guys. Good pictures matter. The women in my business, the business level of my DIY Decor Makers group, will tell you when they started taking better pictures, they started getting more sales on their Facebook pages. Clear pictures, good lighting. You don't have to spend a lot of money to have good lighting. I just have a ring light that I got from Amazon. Natural lighting is the best kind of lighting. So if you have a good spot with windows, use that. Try not to get a lot of shadows and things that are going to distract the eye. Keep it simple and clean so people know what it is they're looking for and what it is they might want to buy. And so whatever it is you're doing, not every picture has to be staged and perfect, especially the behind the scenes mess that people like to see. But when you have a finished product and you want to post it for sale, there's a huge, huge value in how you post your pictures. And I share different examples of, I just had a picture of my gnome shutter that I did with you guys live that went viral. 80,000 people saw it. And I guarantee you, if I hadn't staged it and had good lighting, the same shutter would have never gone viral. Never, never, never. So that's really important. Hi, Macintosh Flower Shop. How are you tonight? So taking good pictures, taking the time. I know sometimes in a busy schedule, busy work weeks, it just feels like one extra thing. But if you clear off a spot, some of the ladies in my business group, they've even gone as far as to take poster boards, trifolds, and make backgrounds with those. With like a wood graining tool and some paint. I mean, there's so many creative ways that you can make nice backdrops and take nice pictures. So start working on your pictures, make sure that they're clean and that the lighting is good. And like I said, I'm always working on that with my own business. So by no means do I think I'm an expert in this area, but anymore, we're so lucky that we have our phones. They go to the advanced editing option on your phone and play around with the lighting, the brightness, the saturation, the contrast, and see what you can do. I teach how to use Canva and Snapseed and beautiful, simple marketing apps that you can use in the Biz Bootcamp as well. But if you don't end up joining that and you just play around with your iPhone, you'll still get better photos than you would if you just take a quick photo and throw it out there. Okay, so that's tip number 4, good lighting, good pictures, okay? Tip number 5 is create the path of least resistance for people to buy. Now, I'm a firm believer in you price things, you give dimensions, you give everybody the information they need to know so they can make a quick buying decision. So a lot of times I will pass things up because if the price, the dimensions, the basic information that I need to make a quick decision isn't there, I will not purchase the item. I don't want to have to hunt somebody down to find the price. I don't want to have to message someone and wait to find out what the dimensions are for something on Facebook, whether it's a piece of furniture, a sign, a bouquet, like whatever it is. Any basic information that you would want to know, chances are they want to know too. And I know some people use that. They'll say, well, I'm not going to post the information because it will create comments. And then that feeds the algorithm on Facebook. But at the same time, and that may be a little bit true, but at the same time, it's not really creating organic conversations around the item. And I think if anything, it's going to detract people or deter people from wanting to buy. The same thing with ticket sales. If you have an event for Facebook and you want to post it, and I teach you how to do that in the Facebook Biz Bootcamp, all of that nitty gritty stuff, you want to have an easy way for people to buy those tickets. You don't want it to be, a long, roundabout, convoluted way for them to figure out how they're going to book their spot. And I'm always working on trying to make that easier and better for my customers. And sometimes it takes some work and takes some testing of different applications. But I think just making it as easy as possible for people to buy what it is you have to offer is really, really important. So if you are selling something on your Facebook page, I would not hesitate to put pricing. And I have tips and tricks for pricing too that we just talked about in my business coaching level of my DIY Decor Makers group. But yeah, Carrie says, I agree. No price, no sale. It's just make it easy because people anymore, we don't have the patience or the time to wait around, right? And because Facebook and the online space is so noisy, You want a direct path. You don't want to make it more you don't want to create more friction for them. You want to create a smoother path to buying whatever it is you have to offer. Even if it's, comment below to purchase, and I'll invoice you in 24 hours. And guess what, you guys, on my Facebook auctions, I just had one during the holiday season with my friend Debbie. We did it on my Facebook page. You can go back and look at that if you want. It's still all posted. People went crazy for some of those items, and my customers know, I invoice that evening, and within 24 hours, the items need to be paid. And then guess what? Those items get picked up at the local shop, and then people come in. You get foot traffic from that as well. And I work half as hard as I do when I set up for a vendor event. A vendor event is a lot of work. So I'm always trying to find ways to streamline my process, make more and work a little less, because in our line of work, in our industry, creative makers, it can be hard to be able to make a living. And so if you think about it strategically, that's really important. So create the path of least resistance when it comes to purchasing for your people, okay? And that's something I've learned. A lot of trial and error, a lot of mistakes I've made along the way, and I'm still working on it, but I can tell you that overarching philosophy is true. So going back to that very first thing of celebrating you, that very first tip I shared at the beginning, part of being confident enough to celebrate yourself is to be able to go live, because going live is such an organic way to connect with your following, even if no one's watching. When I started going live, crickets, right? But you keep doing it and you keep at it, and it's a great way to connect with people. I know you're kind of putting yourself out there, and it's a big, hard, scary thing, but the good things in life don't come easy. So if you want to grow your business and you don't want to spend, $100,000 in capital, use the free resources that are out there for you, like Facebook, to put yourself out there. And stop hiding behind that counter, like we talked about at the beginning. Get out from behind the counter, greet your people, let them know who you are, what it is you have to offer, and how you can improve their lives. Even if it's something as simple as creating beautiful custom gifts that they can give at holiday time. I mean, that is a challenge for people. And so you're solving a problem for them. And as you get to know your customers and you grow your customer base, you will get to know what it is they need more of from you. And then you serve them up with something that they need. Oh, hi, Kim. Hi, my friend. So yes, so don't be afraid to get out there and celebrate yourself, and it can certainly not hurt. And Facebook will show your live video 7 times more than a post, okay? So that's important. It is important that you're doing that. And you're showing up consistently on your page. It doesn't have to be, a lot of work. I have a quick resource in the Facebook Biz Bootcamp for you to get post ideas. You'll learn how to use Canva and Snapseed and all of those things to make beautiful images and beautiful marketing that are appealing to your audience. But all of those things with the new technology we have are so much easier and cheaper than they ever would have been before. So if you think of Facebook as it's like your own little general store where you can really get to know the customers that come in, you can know their stories and care about them and love on those people and serve them up with something that's going to improve their lives in some way. Even if it's something as simple as making a great pasta dinner like my friend Garland Manganello does, then it's worth doing, because you never know what kind of gift that's going to give to somebody. And sometimes I'm really surprised, actually all the time I'm surprised at the feedback that I get from my group members. Because for some people it's just creating and crafting, but to other people it's a life changer for them to be able to do certain things, and it makes them feel good. Or it's helping them pay some bills because they're able to sell some of the pieces that they've created. Or they're able to have workshops, whereas maybe they wouldn't have before. Those sorts of things, just like for me at the beginning, I never would have thought my business would be where it's at today. And so I want to encourage you to not look at all the numbers and focus on what you have in front of you, which is a world of opportunity on social media. and get out there and share your passions and share your gifts with the world. Don't hold back. We're always teaching kids to do this. Why aren't we doing this for ourselves as adults, right? I know that as a teacher, I was always encouraging my students to do that, to take those scary risks. And, you know, those sometimes are the things that have the greatest reward. So whatever business it is you have, I encourage you to utilize Facebook as a free way to get out there and promote what it is you're doing. But most importantly, getting to know people and start conversations that are meaningful and helpful and will create that know, like, and trust factor, which eventually will turn into conversions and sales sort of organically. So I still have a lot to learn as well. I'm learning all the time. I'm always taking courses and learning new things. I sort of geek out on that sort of stuff. But I hope this was helpful to some of you tonight. I'm just going to quickly recap. Celebrating you, celebrating your customer, showing up consistently is so important and clearly. Have a clear message of what it is you offer, and that can change over time. Creating great experiences for them, fun, keep things fun and light. And it shouldn't be all about selling. In fact, it should be like 80% the other stuff, 20% the selling stuff. Pictures are so important with good lighting. And then create a path of least resistance for them to buy what it is you have to offer. Okay, make it easy for people because it's noisy out there. We want to make their lives easier and better, not more complicated. Go do the thing that you're good at, and don't be afraid to share your gifts with the world because somebody out there is waiting for that. I really believe that. And don't be afraid to share your stories because that's what makes us who we are. And we all have something unique to offer. So let me know if you guys have questions about this. I hope at least one of the 5 tips was helpful for you. I know that this is sort of how I have been able to grow my business in a sort of old-fashioned way in a new world. And if it resonates with you guys, please pass this along, sprinkle this out into the Facebook world so other people can hear this as well, and so that I can keep creating free content for you guys on a regular basis. So I hope you guys all have a wonderful evening, and I'll be dropping in more information as the doors, as it gets closer to the doors opening for the Facebook Biz Bootcamp, which will be happening. Doors will open not this Sunday, next Sunday, and they'll only be open for 5 days. And I only open this course twice a year. So anyway, let me know if you guys have any questions. Have a great, great weekend. Bye.